I probably get majority of my satisfaction in knife making when the first time I hold a knife in the real world that had been in my brain. So typically my process on making a new knife is I had a thought. It's like, man, this would be really cool, or that'd be really cool. I'd like to see what that looked like. So I start sketching, do little thumbnail sketches until I get the concept kind of congealed a little bit. And then once I do that, I'll draw a full-size version of it by hand with pencil, tweak it a little bit, make sure everything works as far as aesthetically, and I will actually cut it out and hold it, make sure that the ergonomics are good. And if everything looks good there, then I will take that and I will start drawing it on the computer so that I can use the tools of the CAD CAM software to actually fold the blade if it's a folder, or offset lines accurately, things like that, to really build the knife on the screen first to see if there's going to be any problems with it. Once I have that, it depends on if I'm just going to make one or two, if I'm going to use it on the CNC or if I'm just going to go manual with it. It depends on the complexity of it, which direction I'm going to go. Usually if it's a more simple knife and I'm only going to make a few, I don't do it on the CNC because it just takes too long. And you have to build tooling and fixturing and programming, and it takes several weeks just to get something cut out when you're first starting a new model. I design things for the production with that in mind, and the very first one is cut out on the CNC. And so I have a really good idea of what the thing's going to look like before I even cut the first piece of material. So after the first prototype is put together, then that's when I really begin to scrutinize the design. I look at it and it's like, well, this is a little sharp, this is that, this should be a little longer, this jimping's not quite big enough, this jimping's too big, and I will change it up, and sometimes I'll do 4 or 5 or 6 versions of it before I'm happy with the way it works. Sometimes it came out exactly as I imagined it, and it is just right the first time. Most of the time that doesn't happen, so there will be some tweaking, and it's back to the drawing board. It's a labor-intensive process to prototype something and rebuild it, but it's one of those things the collector deserves to have your best effort there. You can't say, well, that's just good enough. It's the best of my current abilities when I do that, and I think the collector deserves that.